Let me shift back to college football real quickly and get your thoughts on a couple. Well, I talked to Chris Landry about this yesterday. Way too early, but you look at the Miami Hurricanes and what they have been able to do in the transfer portal. You start really chalking through their recruiting and what they obviously bringing in Cam Ward, and it looks like this could be a bang or bust year for Mario Cristobal. And talent wise, it looks like they've got as good a talent as anybody in the ACC coming back. Is this a bang or bust year in your estimation for Mario Cristobal?
Yeah, I hate to put that kind of label on it when we're this far out, as you said, but I think that's reasonable. And, Jake, as we've talked about before, in the new look ACC, I mean, Florida State, a recent, the last half century has risen to power, had some really, really good teams in the 80s and 90s. Of course, won a national championship in 2013 with Jameis Winston, got maybe snubbed this year. Florida State's a team that you look at in the ACC and say they could be a flag bearer. Clemson, with what they've accomplished under Dabo Swinney the last 10, 15 years, they could be a flag bearer. Outside of those two programs in the ACC, now we're talking football, not basketball. I mean, where else are you going if you're not going Miami as kind of that team that really should be at the top of the conference standings every single year? Mario Cristobal is a Miami guy. He's an alum, right? He knows how to recruit. We saw that at Oregon. We're seeing that at Miami. The biggest thing for me is, can Mario Cristobal improve really his game management skills, his time management, the way that he calls a game, the way that he affects the game from the sideline. If he can piece that together, you said it. They're putting the pieces together in the transfer portal. They've got a really strong roster. There really is not an excuse for Miami, and I'll say this regardless of who the coach is, there's not an excuse now for Miami to not be in the top 2 or 3 on a year-in and year-out basis in the ACC. And that should have been the expectation there since they joined the conference in 2005, I believe it was. Of course, they have not been a perennial power in that conference. There's really no excuse. And as the landscape continues to shift in college football with conference realignment, Miami needs to make sure that they're playing at a peak level here when the next wave inevitably hits.
Kelley Ford, make sure to find him on X. You can go to KFord Ratings, also KFordRatings.com. Check him out at the Lions. Kelley, always appreciate your time. Have a great week. Look, when we talk next week, it'll be a lot about the Super Bowl, and we'll tee that up as well as other things as well.
Looking forward to it, Jake. Appreciate you as always.